to make a bit of a navigational decision here. At the moment we're south and east of the rhumb line. The traditional way to get to the Azores is to be north and west of the rhumb line. But we've got a weather pattern which has given us these strong northerlies over here, which is great. We've been making great progress. And even now they've died down a little bit. We're still doing 5 knots. We're still doing more than 100-mile days, which is fantastic. So the inclination is to stay south and east of the rhumb line, and maybe even go even further south and east of the rhumb line, because that's where the weather forecast said that this wind would stay right down the Portuguese coast. The problem then is that getting from the Portuguese coast out to the Azores is a real challenge, because you've got a current against you. The reason I don't want to go north and west of the rhumb line is that the weather forecast before we left said that there was going to be southerlies on that side of the line, so we'd be beating straight into the weather, and that's going to be really slow and hard work. So I don't have a weather forecast for what's going to be happening really beyond about today, so I'm now kind of guessing what the weather's going to do. And that's a challenge, and I don't know whether to go west and get back onto the rhumb line and risk getting into a load of northerlies, into southerlies, and into a beat, or whether to stick over here, which is comfortable and fast, but not quite going in the right direction. So I've got to make a decision, and I haven't got anybody to talk to about it. I haven't got anybody to chew it over with. I haven't got any weather information. The pressure's gone high and is now staying high, so that's kind of consistent with us being anything. This is an interesting one. Well, that was an interesting hour. So 7:30, the wind had boat speed had dropped to 7 knots. Thought, sod it, I'm going to go west. We'll risk it. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that's the decision. So it's Friday morning. Fresh breeze, bright sunshine. Unfortunately, the fresh breeze is from the southwest, so I had a choice of going east of south or north of west, and I decided to go north of west. It might have been the wrong decision, it might be the right decision, no idea. In terms of shortening the distance between where I am and the Azores, it makes no difference which tack I'm on. But I thought we'd be on port, having been on starboard for 4 days. If the weather forecast that we saw before we left is right, we've got a strong band of southerlies, which is what I'm currently working my way across, and punching my way through that and out to the north of the rhumb line is probably a good idea, because we've got no idea what's happening after that, so you might as well go with the general forecast. But as you can see and you can feel by me bouncing and bumping around, bloody hard work going to windward. Second reef, 2 dots on the Genoa, lots of water flying around, spray hauled up. It is at least warm. I'm not going out there to get wet, and I thought you might want to see what it's like looking forwards. Lots of water flying around. So, tack back on starboard, third reef, third dot on the Genoa, blowing really hard, probably about 4-6 I reckon. I think we've got a front coming. I think the clouds this morning give the indication that we've got high cirrus, and now it's clouded over. So I'm banking on the fact that the warm front will go over, and then we'll get a lift. And then the cold front will go over and we'll get an even bigger lift. So back headed south, which isn't really what I wanted to do. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think I'm even laying it now, because the wind's pushing us sideways. So, oh, changed my mind again. So here's the logic. If the weather's coming from the west, if I go towards the west, then I should get through the weather quicker, and I should get the wind shift quicker. So I've tacked back onto port, and I'm making 308. Whether that's right or not, we'll see. But it does feel like it's the right thing to do. It's certainly this way we are actually reducing the distance between here and the Azores, which on the other tack we weren't. Well, that was interesting. So we were on port tack, full set of sails, struggling a bit with some waves that were coming from the west. I don't know why the waves are coming from the west. I do know why the waves are coming from the west. And then high cirrus, bank of cloud, started to rain, and then bang, 60-degree wind shift, veer. Wind went from force 3 to force 6. We've gone from full rig to third reef and double dot on the Genoa. Put 3 dots on the Genoa, but that we haven't got enough. And we've gone away, and we're now going in the direction we want to go at, straight towards the Azores, at pretty much 6 knots, hitting the waves that were been blowing all the day from the southwest, so that we're hitting those right on the nose, and it's really bumpy. They'll flatten out, I'm sure. And it's absolutely hissing it down. If you can sort of get an impression of it. Oh, shut up talking, listen.